Now we are moving ahead with our next panel discussion. It's about the CEO panel, the future of agri and rural communication. We will talk about the corporate communication strategies for building farmer-centric brands, balancing profitability with sustainability and farmer prosperity, future of public-private partnership in agriculture, global competitiveness, India versus world agri-input industry. And for that, our moderator will be Mr. Rajvir Singh Rathi, Director Agricultural Affairs and Policy, IBSL Lead, Trades Licensing, Business, Bayer CropScience. Can we have a big round of applause, everyone? Thank you very much. And into this, our panelist will be Mr. Rajesh Aggarwal, Managing Director, Insecticides India Limited. Thank you very much. Mr. Ankur Aggarwal, Executive Chairman, MD Crystal Crop Protection Limited. Dr. Rahul, Chairman, Managing Director, Aries Agro Limited. Mr. Toru, Managing Director, Bharat Surface Agri-Science Limited. Mr. Virendra Goswami, Country Head, India. Tasinderlo Kurle International. Mr. Anand Kulkarni ji, President and Chief Executive Officer, ICL Growing Solution India. And Mr. Sudhir Godara will join us soon, and he is a CEO Agrochemicals. I request Mr. Rajvir sir to please kindly proceed ahead. Over to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and good evening, everyone. And before we start, fundamental communication, how much time we have? We know that we are already late by 30 minutes. 1 hour? 45 minutes?
45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Let me begin with congratulating Snail Integral for having third successful event today. And I'm sitting among these stalwarts, and if you look at the people, I think that from where the communication starts. Before we come into the, when we start the panel discussion, let me, share something which is very much related with the communication. Like every sector, every life, every country, there is a journey, right? It starts from one place, then it starts moving on. What used to happen in communication is when we were in school, at least I am in school, is teacher used to say, I am responsible for what I said, but not responsible at all for what you understood. Let me say it again. When the communication journey started, teacher used to say, I am responsible for what I said and not responsible for what you understood. Today, it's entirely different. What has been changed? The requirement of communication today is, I am not only responsible for what I said, but I am equally responsible for what you understood. And that's where the entire gamut of communication, begins with that. So having said that, let's, since we have only 45 minutes, let me do less talking and let's hear from the stalwarts over there. And if I can, and let me also make a disclaimer. It's not something I'm going with the alphabetical manner, not with the company's position and everything. I'm giving equal, I respect their positions, their contributions, and they are, stalwarts in their own respective field, serving the farming community. And I think everything starts with the communication, and ma'am has rightfully described over there. Okay, thanks so much. Okay, so let me start with, and I'll go by the guidance which has been given to me, so let's follow that to make the thing simple. Let me start with Ankur Aggarwal. Ankur, companies over the years adopted farmer champions, farmer voices and advocates, but many times the message doesn't seem to reach to the larger audience, right? What do you think where the real gap lies?
So thanks Rajvir, and compliments to Amit and Snail and R.Comm for organizing this. So I'm glad this question came in, which talks about the impact for the farmers. I think this question arises where we talk as organizations as industry, as academia or government, I mean, obviously I can't speak for others, but purely from an industry point of view, uh, we always want to keep farmer at the center stage. We want them to progress. We want farmer productivity to go up, farm income to go up, and we build those themes around that. But are we really making a difference? So I would say that in my view, this is a little topic which have diluted over the years, and there are several factors. There are some macro factors with respect to the way product portfolio is. For example, now product life cycles have shrunk. So product life cycles have shrunk. So teams which are going and educating the farmers for their solutions, they don't see a sustainable scope for those products. So then the window obviously became very short-sighted. Rajvir in his opening comment talked about communication, which said that something which I understand and something which the recipient understand, if we are able to strike that right balance and ensure that the consumer, and in our industry case farmer, is able to fully understand and is hand-holded well, then things will start to change. And this only comes where organizations are willing to invest on right technologies and right innovations which are sustainable and do not come under the pressure of losing sight. And in our industry, we have witnessed that there were some very good products, because of very poor marketability and consistent efforts, they became failures. And there were average products handled well with proper stewardship and consistent investments. They gave good returns to the farmers and they became big brands. So I think that is very important. And also I would take this opportunity to be a little bit more critical. When we talk about India landscape, I mean, अगर मैं आज पूरे अपने देश में, not just in agriculture sector but in other sectors also, how many brands we have or how many products we have which we can purely say they are global brands? I don't think so. We can even count more than 5 brands which we can say which are truly global. And the only reason which I personally feel is that somewhere the willingness and the ability to continuously invest as a solution to the consumer, we lose sight on that. So I think my message and my response to this is that, one, we need to really identify and believe what is the real technology which works as a sustainable boom for the farmer. And if we know that that technology is working, that is helping the farmers, that is helping the consumer, then irrespective of the competition, irrespective of the macro dynamics, we need to have that belief and continuously guide. We have big numbers today. Each organization, I would say, is investing heavily on manpower. Those manpower is going in the field, educating the farmers. Tomorrow, this can potentially be substituted with artificial intelligence coming. Farmer would not want to see the face of what we call field officers. They say that we have every knowledge available through a chat GPT, and if any of us in the hall feels that farmers using chat GPT is a distant dream, I personally feel it's not there. Probably they will be faster to adopt, because after morning hard work of agriculture in the field or late evening review, they have enough time to do it. We in our offices are busy only in our meeting rooms and not going in the field, perhaps they will be early and faster adopters of ChatGPT and artificial intelligence. So we don't know that how these things can unfold. Of course, as part of the communication, we as industry needs to take it beyond areas of short-term benefit and look at investments on long-term and ensure that we continuously invest in areas which benefit the farmers in the long run. So that's my view. I don't know if Rajvir have tried to over expanded this point or kind of address something what you wanted to ask. Thank you.
No, you're very well addressed, and if I can pick up one message, and I'm sure you might have also picked up the power of communication. And in his opening remark, he said that even if it is a product is of an average performance, but if communication is too good, it can outperform or being accepted very easily. And imagine a situation that powerful communication with a powerful brand, what miracle it can create over there. So thank you, Ankur. So since he's made that really good remarks, let me again ask one more fellow on my right side, Mr. Rahul. As someone who works closely with billions of farmers across diverse geography, in your opinion, how do you see that the corporate communication can become a farmer-centric brand by 2030? That's where we are talking about it, especially in the landscape of traceability, sustainability, and which can form a trust or foundation of the trust going forward over there.
Well, thank you, Rajvir. I think I'm going to give you a couple of examples from not too far before. I mean, my own company, Aries Agro, deals with 11 million farmers. We have 145 brands. And we are very proud to say that we have not spent a single rupee on mass media advertising in 55 years. But we've built some of the best brands in agribusiness. How have we done that? I mean, for us, farmer communication is central to everything we do. And I think trust and credibility and the passion with which we communicate the message in a very simple manner perhaps gets us the kind of dividends that mass media could never give us. Just to give you some examples, I mean, I think to earn trust, one of the fundamental ways is to actually be part of the farmer family. So for us, we began digitization about 15 years ago when we launched India's first loyalty program in agribusiness. It's called Khazana. And today, millions of our farmers are on that loyalty program and earn points just like a frequent flyer program. Now for us, these become lead indicators of everything that goes on in a particular village. We also have linked the loyalty program with an app called Aries Everywhere, where a farmer who is not even our customer, but wishes to know whether our brand is available nearby, can actually go out and find the nearest retailer. Now, these are two ways where our scale has been established at the field level. Now coming to communicating with this scale or mass of farmers who are now with us. What we do is a farmer meeting never goes back without a feedback loop. A few days ago, we celebrated our foundation day, and we did 19,000 farmer meetings on a single day, which perhaps is an India record. And every farmer meeting had farmers who had to give a missed call to a particular number, which gave him or her a mobile coupon, which they had to redeem in 15 days. So 15 days from our foundation day, not only did we know how many people attended the meeting, but we also knew how many took that information and actually went ahead and made a purchase. Now, creating a feedback loop gives us so much tremendous amount of information regarding the effectiveness of our communication. It's also very simple. For a farmer, a missed call is something that he does every day. At the same time, he's getting a few rupees benefit because he goes out and makes a purchase of the product for which he has been given information within a defined period of time. So I believe that is a way of saying not only are we giving you the information, but we're also here to take that information. Now, the moment a mobile coupon is redeemed, we then activate our back-end systems, which is from our call centers, which will send out a voice message to that farmer. Have you used the product, and what is the benefit of using the product within a few days after the purchase is made? That is effectively, we are creating a proxy for after-sales service, because you now have an opportunity for a farmer to come back and say, yes, I used the product, yes, I liked it, yes, I want a feedback, yes, I want to speak to somebody else about it. Now, these are ways in which the farmer is said that we are now connecting with you for beyond just giving the information, but we're also here to tell you whether you understood the information, processed it, and how are you using it to effectively get productivity up there. We've also used farmer training and farmer good agricultural practices documented with the best industry organizations and created India Gap for multiple crops. And farmers who use those India Gap practices have been made the celebrities in those areas. So if there is a rice grower in Andhra who uses the India Gap, which is basically not only our set of products, but the whole package of practices, then it is Reddy's rice growing technique which is popularized in that area and not Aries' technique. Which means tomorrow, farmer Reddy, whose technique is now being talked about, is the celebrity. He is the person who has shown that best practices are possible, and farmer training has led to very defined metrics of growth in terms of his farm incomes. Now, I think again that establishes the credibility there. We also did, I'll give you one more example. Very recently, you must have heard, because of the rates of zinc sulfate going through the roof, there was a lot of spurious products that were in the market in various parts of the country. We actually we provided with our dealers, though we don't deal with zinc sulfate ourselves, we provided dealers with test kits which he would use at his counter. And qualitatively tell the farmer who comes in, I'll tell you upfront on the counter whether this product is spurious or not. And a traceability with a QR code was voluntarily put in on every Aries product, which today traces it right from the factory all the way up to the farm gate. This is not required by law, but is done voluntarily. So not only did we talk about anti-counterfeiting, we gave them a way to test it, but we also said if you want to do traceability, it's a simple way of actually scanning a QR code and figuring out how the product is done. Now, I think all of these are very technology where we invest heavily at the back end, but for a farmer is very simple and communicates a language that he or she understands. So I think these are just examples of how we've taken communication to build a corporate brand. I am very happy that though I say corporate brand, when I go into different states of India, I am never known as Aries Agro. I am known as, okay, you've come from Agromin company or Chelamin company, because our product talks before the company talks. But that is part of, I think, pride of what we are, is our products speak for ourselves. And I think that's how we built this corporate brand. And here's some examples I thought would perhaps manifest what we've done in the field.
Thanks, Rahul. You brought up an important point. It's not just about communicating, but it's also about assessing that what's being communicated, in what form it's coming back, and what you do with that information. Let me move to the next, panelist, taken on my left, Tamura-san. We all know that our industry, or crop protection industry, is grappling with the challenge of receiving step brotherly or something negative, like from various stakeholders. In your opinion, what will it take to shaken that negative image or necessary evil, so that we have our rightful space in the agricultural fraternity, in the government corridor, and public at large, especially the consumers, So, Tamura-san, over to you.
So we have multiple aspects. Today I'd like to talk about the three aspects. One is the crop protection manufacturer point of view. Second is government support. Third is the media's role. So from the crop manufacturer perspective, we have definitely several things that we have to strive day-to-day business basis. The first is to develop and then deliver low environmental products without compromising the high effectivity at affordable price to the farmers. We are global citizens, and then we are responsible to make our future better. Through that initiative, we can be eligible to be trusted by the all stakeholders. This is the number one. And second is to provide full and necessary information about dosage of our crop protection product for performing properly, and also to reduce the negative side of the crop protection. providing those necessary information together with the product to the farmer is one of the duties of the manufacturers. And also manufacturers should sometimes give alert to the farmers not to easily use non-eco-friendly products, non-registered products, non-labeled products, especially imitation or fake bio, even though they are cheap and easy to use. This is the second point. And third point is that we have to explain and share what actual and also impact of the crop protection product to environment we have in faithful manner. And we are obliged to provide honestly those kind of information to get the trust from the stakeholders. So I think the manufacturers should do it together with the industry group or industry association. And next is necessary support from the government. I'd like to request the government to launch and accelerate the clear policy to encourage the farmer to raise their productivity. Those kinds of policy may cause some pain and repercussion, especially out of small-scale farmer or tenant farmer. But that kind of increasing the productivity of entire farming in this country is absolutely necessary for the further development of this country and also further growth of this country. And also, crop protection takes a very important role for that purpose. So, if the government will take the seriously action for increasing the productivity of entire farming, automatically the existence and also image and the position of crop protection will improve, I think. And the last but not least, the media also can take a very important role for that thing. I like to ask the media and also NGOs to refrain from the agitating the citizens, just focusing on the negative side of the crop protection and also incorrect information without enough scientific evidence. So for that purpose, crop protection manufacturer and also industry groups need to honestly disclose the information without any reservation to the media. So as you know, India is the 5th largest agriculture country, following to the Brazil, US, Argentina, and China. In comparison with those countries, crop protection usage per farming area in India is almost, how can I say, one-fifth or smaller than that. That means usage of the crop protection in this country is by far less than those advanced agriculture countries. We have to draw attention on this point, I think. And yes, and then from when it comes to the human health, as far as we are using the crop protection product in a proper way, and we are consuming crop with adequate washing before eating, it should be harmless, I think. So we have to keep insisting this point to the outside of the industry. In that sense, definitely we need a cooperation of the media and NGO to let the innocent citizens have the correct understanding of that point. That's all for my answer to the question.
Thanks, Madhu. I think it's a valid point, and it's not just applicable to the people sitting here, in the audience and outside, I think it's a collective, shared, collaborative responsibility for us that how we can make an inclusive, communication around what we brought to the table over there. Let me come to Mr. Virinder. Mr. Virinder, you know that today the global competition is intensifying, right? So, in your opinion, what do you think is the strategic role of public-private partnership, collaborative platform like the Rural Com, which is there, which will really help in building the strategic India's agri-input leadership and also ensuring the long-term farmers' prosperity in a sustainable basis. Your input, please.
I think this is a very interesting and very relevant question for us. We have examples of many successful government initiatives where the infrastructure has supported disseminating information, reaching out to a lot of people. And if we are able to leverage on that as an industry, the results could be tremendous. One thing that we are currently working on, we are independently, working in our own areas of interest. Crop protection is separate, they are running their own business, nutrition is separate, seed is separate. But if we look at who is the center of our universe, it is the farmer. The farmer who has to then, either use ChatGPT or a friend of himself to find out what would be the best seed. I can have the best crop protection chemicals, which will be a good drip irrigation system, which will be a good, maybe a drone system. We are all fighting our battle to win that trust of that particular, the center of our universe, our farmer, because his prosperity is our prosperity. But we are fighting it alone. So I would say public-private partnership. Before that, it should be a private-private partnership, then taking advantage of the public partnership. Because we, for example, a drone technology company can design things for farmers of India, which, with a very fragmented farmland, we find it very difficult to lift and shift the technology from other part of the world to India because our land holdings are quite different. A drone technology guy is developing a drone to deliver, but then we have to figure out, once the drone is in the market, how to develop our molecule which fits the drone technology. So if we are already pragmatically collaborating in advance to develop it, there have been issues in Nasik with grape crop this time. New varieties, some of the varieties which are robust right now, which are found robust in this environment, will be possibly dominating for a few years from now. But then maybe the nutritional requirement of that variety is quite different, and then we will be discovering as a nutrition company on what formula will fit into this. So that is why I see that, in our Sapno Ka Bharat, the real, for what we are working collaboratively. It's not about only competition, it is about co-development. Because ultimately we have to benefit somebody who pays our bill, and that is the farmer. Now, what we also see, we talk about the leadership when we look at nutrition. I come from the nutrition background. When we look at nutrition, we are looking at most of the time imports into the country. Why it is happening? If we look at water soluble fertilizers, because if we scale up, if we want the production happening within the country, we would not be able to consume that within the country. To develop an industrial leadership within the country, we have to first develop the consumption leadership here. We are 97, 98% of our fertilizers are existing since many years before my birth, and many of you. It is just the change of combination which is going to the farmers. The world has evolved a lot in between, and that technology is not necessarily coming at the right pace into our country. For various reasons, there could be multinational players may be hesitant in sharing the technology because it's a free world after you have registered a product. sometimes there could be less respect for patent, there could be less respect for trademarks, about knowledge, and it could be only the competition. And that is what is resulting into lesser consumption of new technology products within the country, and that's why we are not getting into that leadership which we can otherwise produce. If you look at China, for example, they have 50 million tons of fertilizers, around that level, and their consumption of water soluble fertilizer in that is more than 1 million tons. If we look at ourselves, they are around 2 million tons over there. If we look at ourselves, we are 500,000, whereas our total fertilizer consumption is much bigger than China. So this proportion, the ratio, that entire thing would happen when we collaborate first, we design the future ourselves, and we openly share. There are so many things that we can learn. Even the multinational in India are their Indian companies. If you look at the people who are running those companies, if you look at what they are trying to benefit. So if we all work on this, the technology which is currently in other parts of the world can come to India. Now coming back to how public partnership will help in this, our government has the biggest infrastructure to reach the farmers. One message needs to go to the farmers or any citizen in the country. It will take possibly an hour to reach everybody almost, or a day. We are all struggling in our own areas to reach and to give certain message which is really good for the country, good for the farmers, and good for the industry. We have not only the reach part, the communication part, and then the scalability. If the government tells us, for example, we use potassium chloride in India. Now all the soils which are not well drained, the chloride will remain in the soil, and the soil which we have borrowed from our children will be in a worse shape than what we got from our parents. If the government kind of pushes for, okay, we can go for a more soft fertilizer, maybe sulfate of potash, maybe another source which doesn't add that much of chloride, and that production doesn't happen in India, that much consumption doesn't happen in India, because that is not incentivized. So summarizing all this, I think first part is collaborating ourselves, that we co-develop for the future. Today we may be competing for the wallet share, but we are not competing for our products. And tomorrow, leveraging on the government's strength, that we develop a consumption model where we are able to sustain a plant in India, we are able to sustain larger scale capabilities in India. We have resources, and then I'm sure we have led on many fronts, and this could be another area where we are getting into the leadership.
Thanks, Vinder. And if I can pick up one point, which is really important for us to keep in top of mind when we leave this room, is who is in the center of the universe? It's the farmer. Have you made enough effort, what we are communicating, and also working with him, that how much he thinks that whatever he is communicating is helping him, helping whom, whether it's a solution provider, whether it's a civil society, and so on and so forth. So thank you for highlighting that who is at the center of the universe. It's the farmer, no one else, right? Okay. Let me move on my right side, and Rajeshji, we know that the communication happens through multiple platforms, multiple stakeholders, and several means we use it, So in your opinion, what's the most critical piece of puzzle, And the second part is, where would you like to put an effort when it comes to multiple channels, where you can have the maximum outcome-based impact, not just an activity-based impact? Rajesh.
I would say it's a very difficult question to decide that what is the right mode of communication. The basic thing I believe is the communication should be right, it should be straight and very clear for the consumer to understand. If we are able to tell him in very short words and in the language which he understands, it is the easiest process. And then, of course, everything has its importance. The written communication has its own importance. The video films, the mass media, it has its own importance. And then what the people going to the field, conducting the meetings, doing the field days. So that also has its own importance, because when the farmer attends the field day, he understands, he sees with his own eyes that what the fellow farmer is doing, and there is an endorsement of the fellow farmer, which becomes more and more important these days. So I believe that everything has its own importance, and if I talk about IL, here we follow the strategy where we work on all channels, on all ways basically. When I say always, like you have to use the print media, you have to use the electronic media, and at the same time, a lot of BTL activities are to be carried out actually along with the hoardings, posters, as my friend was talking about the farmers, like there are lead farmers, there are good farmers who are following good practices. The companies are putting ICS plots, large plots, doing the demonstrations. So all the things are very important, and I believe the communication which happens in the field is of ultimate importance. And if you are catching the farmer at his household or in the village, that also works well. So we at our place follows all the practices, from large farmer meetings to smaller farmer meetings to the local meetings. Everything is done in the field level. And also I believe that the farmer or the consumer carries the right information, because when it is being disseminated in the field, sometimes there can be some small errors. So to clear those errors or to fulfill those errors, you have to provide the right information to your people. So we particularly take care that all our field trainees, they are well trained, they get the right information. The team across the country, they get the right information. So we have the LMS to train the trainers, I would say. All the people, all the team members have the access, so that when they are going to the field for a particular crop or they are going for a particular product, then they can educate themselves, refresh themselves on a weekly or a monthly basis, so that they carry the right information and disseminate it in the right way. And of course, we try to follow the films and other things so that they can be given to the farmer also, so that he can also refresh and do the thing. So I believe it's a mixture of all type of things, because when you are giving new products or differential products or differentiated, I would say the innovative solutions, then the communication plays the lead role, because the consumer has to understand that he is getting the solution. If we are able to provide the solution, then we are able to communicate it well, the communication is complete in all respects. That is something I believe. Thank you.
Thanks, Rajesh. Keeping very short and to the point, that every means and media has its own role to play, but you have to choose what works where. Thanks. Let me go to Mr. Anand. Often we hear MNC versus local versus Indian MNC and so forth. But in reality, you live in India, you follow the rules and regulation of India, right? You breathe the same air, like, you have the same kind of food and everything, but still many times this comes up MNC versus local. So in your opinion, what's the big challenge for an MNC to earn the credibility and trust in India? And what's the role of communication, or how big is the role of communication to achieve that?
So Rajvir, when you are last speaker, you have one advantage and one disadvantage.
We have one more. Let's see if he comes.
Either you have to wind it up fast, or you have more time. I will take the second one.
No, you have enough time, so no.
I would like to explain the case study instead of talking specific to my company. I will explain the case study of our journey, how the credibility, trust relating to that. For your information, I am working for a company called ICL, Israel Chemicals Limited. It is one of the world's largest phosphatic specialty company, and globally established a strong footprint on research and development, and understood or perceived as one of the problem-solving specialty fertilizer companies. With this background, we wanted to enter India in 2017. As you said, the trust and credibility factor, we faced the challenge of value, capturing the value. Even though we are one of the best quality products, but at that point of time, with other large countries exporting the product to India, we could not compete with them in terms of the value. At that point of time, the global strategy was to grow big. You have to grow big in 3 big agriculture countries like Brazil, China, and India. These are the biggest agriculture in terms of acreages, in terms of crop areas. So India was chosen as one of the strategic importance country for nutrition products. Then our growth journey started in 2019 with a strategic project on that. Then we looked at how to create trust, credibility, go into the market. Also, I would like to give a brief background about the water-soluble fertilizer scenario. Viren talked about it when we are talking about 64 million metric tons against 500,000, 5 lakh metric tons. That is a kind of the gap. The challenge was competing with or working with the companies having the big muscles like cooperative fertilizer companies having 100,000 of dealers on the ground and big fertilizer companies having 10,000 of dealers. That's the second. A third was, can an independent specialty fertilizer company can establish its footprint with the Indian farmer? These are the three big challenges. We picked up, we cannot compete with anybody. We have to create our own ocean. Most of you are aware about red and blue ocean. Then we talked about a value ocean. We have to create an ocean where the value is perceived as the most important rather than competing on the price, competing on the brand. We need to create a value. Our strategy in communication is the most important. We had other strategic levers. Then we looked at value reach 360 as our strategy of communication. Value reach 360. The communication for us was not starting from the product launch. We said, how do we discover the value? Starting from the market research to understand what are the pain points of the farmer. Today he is using water-soluble fertilizer, mainly important crops like grape, pomegranate, banana, like this. Then what are the pain points? That is the stage of value discovery. Instead of just keeping the FCO book, whatever is there, bring the product and sell it, that is a trade. We said we want to create a value, what we can do. Understood some of the problem Indian farmers are facing. Then we had some solutions globally. Then brought those solutions, registered those products. That's a value discovery. Then establishing the value. How do we establish the value? We had a very systematic protocol, doing the R&D at Israel, then doing R&D, that's level 1, level 2 at universities of India, then going to the KVKs, then to the farmer. Level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. We did lot of work in the initial year to define a crop program. Instead of selling a product, going this product is better than this company, we said we need to design a crop plan. Why crop plan? One of the pain points of the farmer today is the fertilizer use efficiency. We all talk about it. We talk in this gathering, but is it the same thing understood by the farmer? We went and asked, every farmer is talking about how many kilometers per liter of petrol his motorbike is giving. But does he know one bag of fertilizer, what is the productivity? You must have read lot of magazines in the FAI that fertilizer productivity is decreasing. Somewhere from 10.6 to 3.6 till 2015, and 6-year data is not available. 2019, 6-year data is not available. Does the farmer understand that language? Then we said, A, use the subsidized fertilizer. B, use the regular fertilizer. C, you use a unique crop plan, what ICL is giving. Does it make a sense? If it makes a sense, what is that? How many trials? How many clusters? Then I would like to tell you one product, when we launched in 2019, we took around 8,000 demonstrations across the country. 3,000 demonstrations recorded back with the data. 1,500 demonstrations published in the booklets. That's what I call it as a value dissemination. Calling from discovering the value, establishing the value, and disseminating it to the market value. We looked at mass media, paper advertisement, hoarding, banner. We cannot put because large landscape, large companies are participating. We choose our own ocean. We invested into the last 6 years, and I would like to share that this model has successfully worked, transferring from minerals to most admired water-soluble company in India today. Within a unique crop plan grade, we have emerged as one of the largest importer, largest seller into the market, and that shows the credibility and trust of the farmer. Also, we said, fortunately, we had Israel as one of the trusted and credible the country, the technology for the farmer. That was an advantage. With that journey, establishing further value and getting the good responses from the farmers, our entire communication is based on the value. Every person in the organization will ask a question when we are launching a product, what value it gives to the farmer. I'll tell you one example. Recently, last 2 weeks back, we launched one fertilizer for the drone. Fertilizer is there for the drone, we have been applying, but we, at the value discovery, we try to understand what is the difference. When the farmer is spraying on his backpack, when he's spraying with a drone, what is the difference? For example, with the backpack spray, 15 liters, he puts 100 grams, approximately. It depends on the product. But in a drone with a 10 liters or 18 liters, he has to at least put 1 kilogram in 10 liters. That's the kind of solubility the product has to give. When it went back to 2 years back to the R&D, when drone movement is happening in India, the product has been developed which has got a much higher solubility and less phototoxicity when it is sprayed on the ground. With these two, we started taking university demonstrations, established a value, then we have taken that product. So what I would like to mention here is, every person challenges the value, so it becomes easy for us to communicate. And communication is one of the important tools when we are talking the product which is at the introduction or the growth stage. When it is a maturity stage, there your efficiency matters. How your transportation cost is reduced, how your dealer output is reduced, efficiency matters. When the product, the whole category of water soluble is in an introduction, of course we have taken long time from introduction. And Supal's authentic book is available now on water soluble handbook. It took long time, but at this stage, I think giving a value to the farmer, making him to understand with a given other option, this is giving him better marginal cost benefit ratio. He is spending 5,000 rupees more for the cropland. End of the year, how much is it? If he is getting 15,000, it's a good deal because farmer is investing 1 rupee more, he is getting back 3 rupees more. This is how we took this entire communication journey. And thanks Amit ji for understanding our value agri-reach nomination today and providing this platform for us. Thank you all.
Thanks, Anandji. Focusing more on the value and the output or the ROI side of it. Let me welcome Sudhir. Thanks so much for joining. Let's accept that we are today living in a world where the opinions are being formed and dropped over social media, WhatsApp, and so on and so forth. Something has a very short shelf life of a day or a second or a minute. But what has really happened is chemicals, especially agrochemicals, over a period of time, it has developed a record of being a bad boy. And not all the time the science is coming to rescue to us by design or by chance or by ignorance. So given that context, so should the credible and the responsible companies take this onus on us to fix it? And if it is so, in your opinion, what channel would be the best one to fix that image of so-called bad boys?
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Okay. So, there is a Sanskrit sloka for this.
Yeah.
There is a Sanskrit sloka for this. And sadly we only read first part of it. What is that? That is Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. Is it right or not? We have read Ahimsa Paramo Dharma. Is it? Is it the complete sentence or complete sloka? Anyone? So the complete sentence is Dharma Hinsa. What is that? Tathevcha. So if we don't know the full picture of anything, then everything can be bad or can be good. For example, sugar, right? It looks very sweet, it looks very good, but it's not as good as we think, right? Similarly is the case with the pesticides. I'll tell you about one story which, I have been 13 years plus in this industry. I joined a Japanese multinational and I was working in Rajasthan in initial years of my career. So I went to a village called Jhadeli in Rajasthan. It's in Bikaner district. And, Bikaner was like having groundnut, it's groundnut belt. around 20 lakh acres or something in Bikaner Belt. And 90% of the crop was under white grub attack. So for that, I was working for a company which was working on clothianidin, and they were solving the problem of white grub. So I went to a village called Dhadeli, and in that village, when I went, I discussed with an elderly farmer. Then I told him that I have come from such company, and we are working on this white grub problem. Then he told me, "The tumhara Bhagwan ho, you are my God." So, why he was saying that? Then I told him, "Hey, यहाँ कुकर बताओ मने भगवान, मैं तो मने सारा पेस्टिसाइड बेचना रखे, लोग क्या दवाई बेचो थे." So people are telling us that you are selling those pesticides and nothing else you are doing. So how you are telling me that I'm your God? He told me that last 3 years I have been able to, get the yield of more than 50 lakh every year. And why? If I talk about, 3 years before, I was investing around 8 to 10 lakhs every year and I was losing it completely. So it totally depends on the, kind of full holistic picture, not on, some part. Sugar is bad, pesticide is good. Or sugar is good, pesticide is bad. It's not the case. We need to understand the details of it. The goodness lies in the details. So that is what, I think that, it should be. And as a pesticide body and, the kind of platform we have developed here, so I think we should work on, kind of disseminating the entire and full picture of what we do. We just not sell the, poison. We sell the solutions to a problem, which is quite critical for India's, poverty, India's production, India's agriculture, everything. So that's what, we should work on. Thank you.
Thanks, Sudhirji. I think you raised a valid point that details is necessary before you move out and start making any statement over there. And we are close to the time what has been allotted to us, and communication and this panel will not be complete or justifiable if I don't give 2-3 minutes to the audience, quickly, if any suggestions, observations, corrections, amendments. Thank you so much. That was my last question, so it will cover that. So thank you. Good communicator. Yeah.
Easy and difficult question. Sometimes when I'm launching new products, people ask, you are investing so much because you have deep pockets, you can do that. I feel embarrassed. If I put the other way, if I don't have the product to launch, then the team, whatever number, X number we have kept for sales, marketing, what are they doing? And what are we doing? So sometimes I feel we are just providing them the engines, the reasons to go to the market. If I am giving them new introductions, if I am giving them newer solutions, if I am giving them the new ways of communication with the customer, then I am increasing their, I would say, appetite to go to the market and meet the farmer at a time when he don't need us. Meet the retailer at a time again when he is not feeling that an agrochemical representative is going to visit him. Many times I say, बेचूलाल मत बनो, जाओ बात करो, रिश्तेदारी डेवलप करो, दोस्ती करो और काम करो. अगर सीधा सीधा बात करोगे बेचूलाल भाई तुझे चाहिए मैं देने आया हूँ, कोई लेगा नहीं. Nobody is waiting for you. So you have to give the right information to the people. Make friends. Friendship means, does not mean that you start being a friend and you start doing the charity. But you have to develop the relationship, you have to develop that trust, and if you are able to do that, then things happen. So we market our product as tractor banned pesticide, and we have tried to create a very good image for our brand in last 25 years, because yes, there are challenges when people start comparing. Sometimes they believe that if they purchase cheap, then they are going to make more profit. But what about the shelf movement of a product? If they put my product or the other product, my product may be expensive, may be cheap, but how many times it can move? So we try to provide all those information, and I believe to a certain extent we win. Difficult to give the percentages, but maybe if I have to give marks out of 10, I can say 6 or 7.
Thanks, Rajesh. Anything anyone wants to add to Rajesh? Otherwise, we'll take another question from Mr. Bakul.
Yeah.
Last question.
So, instead of question, I'll share my experience of the previous two companies. So, for any new product we used to launch, there was a standard certification process for all the employees. So, all the employees have to go under product certification. That means the R&D will conduct entire training for them. They have to pass exam, and that too exam they have to pass with more than 90%. For the product, all the FAQs are created keeping customer in mind, what kind of questions will come, what answer we will give. So when, and if at all he is not certified, he is not supposed to sell the product. It will help create a standard communication about the product at every level. Are you getting my point? So it is what we communicate matters, and then we focus also on how they communicate. So how to conduct a farmer meeting, even that is also very, very important. And so most important thing is creating a skilled manpower on knowledge, skills and attitude is extremely important. That's what my experience I just
Thanks, Bakul. I think everyone knows the what part of it, but to make it successful, I think sometimes we lose focus on the how part of it, and that's where I think the how part which you highlighted is really critical to put across any message. The channel doesn't matter if the how part is really good over there. With that, thank you so much each and every panelist for that session. And yeah, please. Yeah. How do you know?
Thank you. Thank you, sir, for giving that opportunity. So I have a question based on your last question to the last panelist sitting, Mr. Sudhir, if I'm reading
Mr.
his
Sudhir,
name correctly.
yeah. Mr. Sudhir.
Okay. So my question is to everyone sitting here.
Can you speak loudly?
Yeah. Sorry. Am I audible now?
Yeah.
Okay. So the question is that when it comes to pharmaceuticals, okay, it's a 1600 billion market, allopathic, completely chemical based. But then, what is the situation of Ayurveda or homeopathy? Hardly less than 1% of the entire medicine industry. But when it comes to agrochemicals, I feel there is a problem of perception altogether. Okay, and I heard somewhere, I'm not a very technical person, I heard somewhere some of the raw material also, which goes into agrochemical also goes into pharmaceutical. So your question, which was to Mr. Sudhir, that is it the responsibility of some of the top MNCs or top companies to take up this issue? I have a point that maybe it would be a part of every stakeholder involved in it. Maybe government has a very major role, because government has boosted pharma somewhere in a very positive way. What is the opinion of the panelists here? I just want to know that. Thank you.
Mr. Godara, you want to start with?
Certainly. Yeah, you are, right on this, that lot many, pesticide products, like if you talk of pyridine chemistry, or you talk of, triazole, lot many products, like for example, DEK for pendimethalin, it also has a pharma application. So there are n number of products which are going into pharma as well as agrochemicals. But certainly this thing is not being communicated to the ground team. Even the ground team of most of the pesticides companies are not feeling, good enough that they are selling the pesticides. So, charity starts from home. So we need at least, if we start with the guiding our team, that most of the products which you are using, even they have applications, intermediates are having the applications in other divisions as well. So, we should not work on the opinions, of course, but at the same time, if we can create positive environment for us to work, then it would have a lot more and better perception about the industry. And we would grow, we have the potential to grow 30 times from now on. Like right now we are at 5 billion and we have the potential of 150 billion because we will have to serve the world as well. So 40 billion of India market and 10 billion of the export markets. So that is what is the potential we have to cater as a India agrochemical industry. So for that, yes, the perception we will have to make is a very positive one. And I totally agree that, no one other than us can do it. Thank you.
Thanks, Sudhir. I'm going to give you 45 seconds. Just 45 seconds? 45 seconds.
Sure.
Thank you. If you look at the evolution of our industry, especially on agrochemical and partly on the seed, till 2000 or early 2000, it was all private. To give an example, Rathi company producing in Gujarat, right? Using private truckers to transport to the dealer distributors, and he's selling it to the farmers, right? With the advent of the social media, regulatory scrutiny, consumer awareness around the food safety and everything, and that's where the additional responsibility also come on our shoulders, that how we communicate the right part of it. Picking on what Sudhir was saying is one or the other, looking at in totality, he has given two examples like sugar and chemical over there. So that's also we need to see somewhere that, look, are we focusing more on treating the symptom or the disease? Ma'am, over to you.
Thank you very much. And can we have a big round of applause for such a great panel discussion? And I must say that every single topic was covered, and very briefly you touched every single topic. Thank you very much. And now I would like to request Mr. Rajvir Singh Rathi to please kindly felicitate the other panelists. Mr. Rajesh Aggarwal ji, so please kindly come forward. Can we have a big round of applause, everyone? Thank you very much. Mr. Ankur Aggarwal ji, Dr. Rahul, Mr. Toru Tamura, Mr. Virendra Goswami, Mr. Anand Kulkarni, Mr. Sudhir Godara, and now I request Mr. Amit Dikekare to please kindly come and felicitate our moderator. Thank you very much. And now I request all the panelists to please kindly come forward for a group photo once. Thank you very much. Once again, can we have a big round of applause, everyone? Thank you very much.